Alright, for my next project, this is a commissioned custom order. This is, I printed this out, made it the size I wanted, and printed it out with the computer. This is a Kurt Vonnegut drawing. So what I did first was I got it ready how I wanted. And I took a piece of the drafting film, put it over and traced all the lines. There's a lot more negative space with this one than what I normally do. Really, there's only a couple colored pieces here and there. All these black pieces, I'm going to use this gray glass. And then I got, you know, these are just all spare pieces of glass. And this blue is actually just for this little tiny piece right here. And then, yeah, just tinned copper wire for all this. It's going to be interesting. I don't think I'm going to use any of the lead border metal. I think I'm just going to maybe add some reinforcement copper around the pieces and just solder it all up that way. That's my plan anyway. We'll see if that's what I end up doing. But for now, let's say that's what I'm going to do. So the very first step, let me just set this up here. So that's just going to be my reference for colors. And I actually wrote the colors on here even though I didn't really need to. Let's try and cut the red piece first because it looks like it's the biggest colored piece. That looks like it's big enough. Alright. Oh, my cutter. Just going to try and go real quick here. Alright, like that. First piece, cut. Nice. Throw that up on the pattern. There's one more red piece. This one's tricky because there's a little half circle missing from it. The problem with that is sometimes it's hard to break that out. I mean, I guess that's a pretty obvious problem, but that's the problem nonetheless. So instead of putting it right at the edge and trying to just do that and then break it, if I do that, it will almost certainly crack somewhere else. It will. I've done it enough times to know that. So what I'll do is I'll move the actual piece I need towards the middle, and instead of just cutting a little half circle, I'm going to start wider, go around, and then end wider. So it's not quite half a circle. That's just a little trick I picked up from cutting out enough weird little shapes. Now, I don't know if this is going to work. It might not, but oh, it didn't. Totally broke it. Bummer. I got another red piece right here. So, let's see. Same thing. Alright. I'm just going to barely squeeze. Oh, just barely started the crack. You can see the crack went about halfway right there. Now I'll move this over to the other line. Do the same thing. Oh, just barely started the crack. Keep kind of moving it around the circle. And oh, that didn't work either. You know what? I need another red piece. This is my drawer full of colored glass. Those are all little scraps. Try and find a red one that is textured the right way. That looks good. Oh, there's red pieces down here. I don't know, that's too textured. That's the wrong shade. Too textured. Ooh, that's a good one. I think that one might work. Oh, no, that's darker. I don't know if my neighbors know that I do stained glass, but if they don't, I wonder what they think the noise is. Alright, now if I can't get it with one of those pieces, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I have drawers and drawers full of old broken glass from past projects, and that's what I use a lot of the time. This is the same shade of red, yes. do the same thing. I'm gonna actually start this one wider. As long as I follow the line for the actual half circle, it doesn't matter what the line does after that. So you see I went wide. If I try and do a little half circle thing, it's just so hard. So I can just start to break it. Just the tiniest bit, just get the crack to run around. I don't have a good feeling about this one either. Ah, I say it right before I break it. It's tough, guys. It's tough sometimes. It's real tough. It's because it's such a small, detailed break. I don't know. I have a good feeling about this one. It sounded good when I did it anyway. Doesn't seem to be wanting to work though. Oh, god dang it. I never said I'd get it right the first time, you know? Sometimes it takes multiple tries, but I will eventually get it right. Promise that. Just kind of add a little tiny bit of pressure here. Sorry if my head keeps getting in the way. I'm kind of focusing on this and not really monitoring the video. Once I get some of these harder pieces done, I'll pay a little more attention. Oh, got it. Nice, nice. Good enough, right? So the little half circle is kind of cut pretty close to where it's supposed to be, and then it goes wide. But like I said, that doesn't matter because I'm cutting the rest of that away. So let's start by cutting it along these lines. Now, there are safe ways to break the glass with your fingers. I don't really give a shit. So I just kind of break it. It results in me bleeding a lot, but I mean, my hands are just covered with wounds from work and stained glass. So I'm used to it. No big deal. No biggie. Ooh, I like how that one's coming out. That is nice. That's good. It's real good. The middle is going to be a little piece of the gray glass. And then this little section, I wrote white, but it's actually just going to be nothing. It's going to be empty. All the white is just going to be empty space. Seems to me like that'd be the easy way to do it. Now I broke this. You can see there's a little sliver of glass inside of it. So I just take these and kind of get that to go away. Scrape it out. Alright, 2 red pieces are done. Get all this red out of the way. Don't need any more of that. Don't want to think about it anymore. Just push it over off to the side. Let's go for green next. Seems like they're good pieces. So 1, 2, 3 pieces left. That's actually black right there too. Actually, let's do the circle now. Now with the circle, it's easier to, you can't do it all in one cut. It won't break right. So you just kind of go around, and like with this circle, I think it's going to be maybe 4 cuts. And then you gotta use these and round it out, round off all the sharp little edges. So that was 2 cuts so far, right? There's 3 cuts. Let's go for the 4th. Alright, 4th cut. looks about right. Let's pattern up. Let's go for a bigger piece. There we go. That works. So it's a nice curve first. Alright, nice. Alright, one piece left to cut. I don't think I'm even going to need that big triangle. Yeah, someone requested this Vonnegut drawing, and I didn't recognize it at first. They had to tell me that's what it was, which made me feel stupid because God knows I've read everything by Vonnegut. But I also have a terrible memory. Rather than trying to cut off that last little tip, I'm just going to kind of break it down a little bit. Alright, there we go. So, that's actually all the pieces. So, let's clear off the table. Just sweep everything off to the side. Now, that's all the pieces. The next step, I'm going to foil all of these pieces. And then I have to bend the pieces of copper wire. And just solder it all up. It's really not that much to it. Now, foiling is my least favorite step. Cutting glass my favorite. Foiling is least favorite. Soldering, I guess, falls somewhere in the middle. So what you want to do is you want to get the glass to go in the very center of the foil. I use the thinnest foil I can buy, just because I think it looks better when it's done, especially with this clear glass. I actually have foil that has a black on the back or silver on the back for when you're using clear glass like this. But I don't really mind seeing copper through it, seeing the copper color. So foiling the glass. You don't want any gaps in between the foil and the glass, because then you'll notice after you solder it, the solder won't be right up against the glass. I don't know how much of this process I'll be showing. Probably skip ahead. Just going to smooth it out with my fingers and then set it down against some flat surface. I'm just using the piece of glass that I was cut on. That's what I usually use. Some people ask me who've been here if it's just like, I don't know, some people think it's weird that I cut glass on top of glass, but it's not like the score is going to go through one piece of glass and into the other, you know. It's not how it works. I also had some people ask about whether there's a chance of the glass moving while you cut it, and I didn't actually show anyone, but the glass cutter is just this little tiny wheel that moves, and when I dip it into the oil, it rolls across the glass really easily and just makes a little tiniest score in the top of it. You know, you're not cutting the glass, what you're doing is you're preparing the glass so that when you break it, the break will go where you want it to. You know, you're encouraging the break to go where you want it to. Yeah, I guess that's really all you're doing. So I'm just gonna keep foiling this. And I think we'll check back in once I get all of the pieces. What I'm going to use this, thank you, thicker, just bare copper wire that I bought at Home Depot a long time ago. I'm going to fold it how I want it, cut all the pieces and everything, and then I will tin it myself. Just, you know, apply the flux and apply the solder, and then I will assemble the tinned thicker wire and the pieces and just solder it all up. And yeah, as I said, I'm not going to use lead border around these little pieces because there's so few of them, and the border would just kind of make everything bigger, and it would just kind of play with the gaps and everything. Like it would just be more difficult than it needs to be. So that's all I can ever do. Alright. Boom. Let's cut the shorter. It's hard to work with this whole thing. So I keep the cutter out of the way, put that back on the board, and that out. Here we go. Much better. So just kind of make each bend one at a time. Get it hard. You know, it's not going to be exact, as I said. Like, this is a little harder of an angle than I'm... The next step is I'm going to move the glass, lay down a piece of plywood, and I'm going to tin all of the wire. Once I get all the regular copper wire tinned, then I can lay it all back down like this on the piece of wood and start the soldering process. So we will come back and I will show you tinning some of the wire. Alright, so I got everything laid out on the piece of wood here. I got all my copper wire pieces sitting right here. I have these kind of laid out. I'm going to solder these up too, just kind of put them together for now. First thing, copper real wet with this flux. So I'm just going to drag it along, spread the solder out. That's all we're doing, we're just spreading the solder on the copper wire. You know, who knows how well it's going to work out. I have a good feeling about it though. Oh. It's over. Add some solder here. Kind of looking at the pattern. I'm not laying it on top, you know, I don't know if this is exactly right, but I mean, it looks pretty good, right? Well, I think so. I guess you can't really answer me, but you know, I'll actually do this. Alright, most of the basic stuff is already attached. This, I cut and bent these. I don't think that part's going to be included, but this is the reinforcement copper that I was talking about. It's real thin, flat stuff. You bend it real easy, and all that's going to do is, right now there's just foil around the edge, and when I leave it like that, if you touch it, it's going to come off, and like these pieces are going to move around and shit. So it needs a reinforcement. So that's all this stuff is going to do. It's going to make it so that the outside isn't foil. It's going to be a little thicker and hence a little stronger. That's all I'm doing, is trying to make it so it doesn't fall apart. A little too, I don't know, easy going to follow instructions super closely. Kind of a rule breaker anyway, though. You know, it's good enough, I think. I say as I keep trying to clean it up more. All right, I'm going to say that that's good. So the last step is I have to figure out where the balance point is. I think it's going to be somewhere above this little piece. This little piece. Where exactly is hard to determine. So I have a little ring here. I'm just going to solder it on where I think it goes, and then I'll try and hang it from it and see how straight it hangs, you know? That's really the only way to find out. Just got a trial and error. Some of the times with the sun catchers, I'll solder this little ring on 5 times before it sits how I want it to sit, and I mean, there's just no way to know exactly. Like, I put my finger on it and kind of do that, but my finger's a lot wider than the contact point between this and the hook, so it's really not a good way to judge, or at least not an accurate way to judge. It's the best way to judge as far as ways that I have, but it's not accurate. So let's see, let's just make a little hook with this piece of copper I have right here. And through. Hey, that's pretty good. It's hanging pretty straight there. I'm happy with that. So let's see. As I said, it's not going to be exact, but it's not bad, you know. I think it turned out pretty well, actually. It's yeah, I like it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it, I'm going to clean it all off, get all the acid off, get it nice and as shiny as I can, and then I'll show you one more shot after that. And I'm going to say that's good. Yeah, I could have spent another couple hours on this to get it perfect, but it's just too much. It's too much trying to get it perfect. Sometimes good enough has to be good enough. As much as I hate it, that's just how it has to be sometimes. I'll show it off to the person that requested it just as soon as I'm done here. And we'll wrap this up. So, there it is. You know, it doesn't line up perfect, but it lines up better than I thought it would, frankly. I'm happy with it. Hopefully, Vonnegut would be proud. And that's it. Thanks for watching.